And we're live once again because we just recorded half an hour of podcast and we forgot to turn on the mic. Yes.
Predictable.
But now we know a lot more about our guest and we can make better questions, I guess. My name is Chris. Next to me there's Renars.
What's up? What's up?
And this podcast is called We Don't Know Yet. That's actually a good name.
We're working on it. We don't know yet.
We're working on it. And today we have a very nice guest. He's the first Indonesian to ever do comedy in English in the history of Indonesia. And yeah, that's about it.
That's pretty crazy considering that Indonesia is the fourth biggest in population in the world.
Yeah.
It's a humongous country. Well, congratulations, my man. Thank you so much for being here. So it's Reggy in Indonesian and Reggie in English.
Precisely.
So, welcome, Reggy. Applause. We're going to put some sounds. Fart sounds. Welcome, Reggy.
Thanks.
That's a very warm welcome.
So,
By Chris.
It is warm. The warmer it is, the worse it smells. But, so Reggy, what we talked about before is that basically you lived two different lives. Before comedy and after you started comedy and now you're a comedian, you're a household name in the Indonesian comedy scene.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like this.
Maybe if you put it that way.
So what is it? What is that you're saying?
So first, what I want to know is, tell us before the comedy. You've been a comedian for 12 years, but before becoming a comedian, who the fuck were you? What were you doing?
Yeah, just a regular paper pusher, right? Because I used to work in an office, used to teach regular jobs, because I come from a very typical Chinese Indonesian family.
What does it mean?
It means that it's a safe life. Kind of boring, actually, kind of bland, right? Because I was just expected to work in a safe environment and just to become something that they can understand and measure.
But it's not really a question about boring is not boring. It's mainly whether you like it or not. Like teachers can have an amazing, exciting job because they work with the future of, for whatever, with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, being a teacher is one of those jobs that you really have to be into it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm the best teacher there is, man. My students love me, literally. So
He's an idiot.
He actually hooked up with some of his students.
So why you're not a teacher anymore?
After doing this for 11 years, I think that I need to outgrow myself. Come on, 11 years, man. So I need to do something else than just teaching.
Well, why didn't you take teaching to a different level?
Exactly. Because right now, I'm still mentoring, coaching.
Okay.
But I no longer work for schools. There you go. Because I used to work for schools, and that's a bit limiting.
So you mentioned you work for corporate clients then? You work for corporate and like companies?
Yes. Small-time projects by contracts.
Okay, and what exactly do you do?
I mentor them about comedies, mentor them about public speaking, basically.
He's actually also a Toastmaster.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm a Toastmaster too. Yeah.
How long did you do Toastmaster?
Oh, 5 years probably.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did it for about 12 years. Yeah. Yeah, I started in Canada.
You could never say that.
Yeah.
By the way, what?
I started in Canada and then I did it in the UK.
Wait, you're a Toastmaster too?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
We all Toastmasters.
Well, I used to be president though.
He's a pro Toastmaster. Yesterday he barely could go home. He was toasting all fucking night. He made me drink some buka with the what is that? With the steam, and I had to suck it.
Yeah, the way you say it doesn't really do justice. There's a way.
You sound like my student.
There's a way to drink sambuca, because sambuca, you know that when you light it on fire, it catches on fire. There's a way to smoke the alcohol of the sambuca.
It's just inhaling the fumes, like the way he tells it.
It just looks cool for the ladies. But wait, we said that you're mentoring people. We said that you were a teacher.
He's going back on track.
And then we're talking about
very
sambuca.
Nice.
and he also told us before we realized that the mic was off that he So he basically he clickbaited us because he was like, "Do you know that I used to work in counterterrorism?" And we're like, "Whoa, that's amazing! What the fuck is that? Tell us the story." Well, one day I did photocopies. That's literally what he told us.
And that was our reaction exactly when he said that. We said, "Wow, that's amazing!"
That's
and then tell us the most exciting story.
photocopies in Indonesia.
And accounting, yeah.
And then you freaked
And
out.
he was
some
counting
people.
terrorists. Nobody's gonna understand these jokes.
I know.
No.
Those are inside jokes now.
Okay, tell us about the counterterrorism thing. What you were doing there?
I was working in Aceh.
Okay, pause.
Aceh?
Explain Aceh.
Aceh is the, in my personal opinion, please don't kill me for this, is the worst place to live in Indonesia because they are very conservative. And if you're caught drinking alcohol, having sex before marriage, or doing gambling, they are going to cane you in public. It's their
Cane you.
form of public execution.
And is this because the religious stuff? Is
Yes.
it's a lot of I presume
It's their
Muslim.
Sharia law. They even have Sharia police.
Right.
I've been I lived 1 month in Saudi Arabia,
Which part?
in Jeddah and close to Mecca.
Yeah.
When I was working on airplanes, I used to be a cabin crew.
Yeah, I know.
Hostess.
No, you didn't say.
Yes. And we were bringing the pilgrims to Mecca.
Oh, okay.
And there as well, like those 5 times a day where you have to pray, everything was shutting down because if you didn't,
Yes.
the police would fucking kill you.
Yes,
or
yes,
at
yes.
least punish you
Which
really
can
hard.
be a good or a bad thing because at least you have 5 breaks a day. Especially if you're not a Muslim. You gotta pray, I'm gonna smoke.
Talking about alternative way to punish people, I don't know if you've ever heard what they do in Gilis, in the Gili Islands.
Huh?
So the Gili Islands are these little islands. They're part of Lombok, actually, but they're very close to Bali. And there is no police there. Now, there are 3 islands, and I think that the biggest one, you can just walk around it in 1.5 hours, so they're very small. And what happened is that when they catch tourists that they steal from shops, for example, since there's no police, there's kind of a banjar like in Bali, more or less. They put the sign around their necks saying, "I'm a thief," and they made them parade 3-4 times around the island while everyone insult them.
It's like a walk of shame.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
And there was like one person with a freaking ding dong shame.
It's great. But you were in Aceh doing counterterrorism.
Yes.
Tell us the story about the counterterrorism. Please tell us again.
You had a rehearsal, so maybe now you can deliver it better.
I got to rephrase it to make it sound cooler. I didn't know it sucked.
Now he's gonna tell like a Rambo
He's
story.
touching his phone automatically that he has to time his set. It's like, how long it's going to take?
Yeah. Let's make it 1 minute. No. So there was a civil war over there. So the way that my office planned to make peace is by
What office was it? Was it like a...
European Union Peace Monitoring Mission.
Okay,
Oh,
wow.
as why you did not
Obviously.
know that? Obviously.
Obviously, what else? So my office confiscated all guns owned by both the ex-combatants and by the military and cut them in half.
Okay, I have questions. First of all, Kadamina make no sense, but how does the European Union have the power to seize from the military in Indonesia guns and cut them in half?
That's a long story. You sure you want to listen to this?
No, I think he's lying.
Yeah, try to make it short. So how come the European Union is involved in this?
Because the leader of the separatist movement took asylum in Sweden. Right? So...
All right, boring. Next stop.
Plot
Exactly.
is thickening. Okay, comedy.
And it's me. So, after you've been a teacher, after you've been radiated for being a teacher because you were fucking your students,
Which is a true story.
which is a true story, after making photocopies in Aceh for terrorists, counter-terrorists, you said, okay, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going to become a comedian.
Yeah. So what's your question?
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And he found out because he was making all the terrorists laugh, and he was like, oh, maybe I have something going on here.
I hated my job, you guys.
So you told us also that you're the first, not only the first Indonesian to do comedy in English, but also the first to do a YouTube video in English.
Yeah.
Comedy YouTube video in English.
The first Indonesian, the first English-speaking Indonesian comedian in YouTube. There you go. It's just a long-ass name.
All right. And tell us a little bit about your comedy career, if we can call it a career, honestly.
Started off, I agree with
Chris
you.
just keeps shitting on Reggie.
That's not wrong, though. Started off in 2009. That was my first time ever doing stand-up. I did an...
And you were already living in Jakarta?
No, this was in my hometown.
Which is called?
Malang.
Malang?
Yeah,
okay.
it's a small town of 800,000 people. That's small.
That's the town where the tattoos were cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tattoos like this, you can fuck
Is that
students.
supposed to be like a triple X like from the movie?
Everybody's saying that. This is like before Triple X.
What is it then?
He was the inspiration for Triple X. Because the original movie, there was Triple X who was supposed to make photocopies against terrorists.
Yeah, that's why Vin Diesel fucks his students.
Oh my god.
All right, tell us. Sorry, Renard keeps interrupting.
This is like horrible. What do we need to mention this beautiful piece of art? It's how can we
This
not?
was beautiful before I went to Bali.
In 1990.
In Bali, this is
it was beautiful
shit.
in 1990s.
No. This was never been beautiful. Like,
is that even real, or it's like every morning he just puts like that?
it's a henna.
No, it's from chewing gums. You know that thing, the paper and the water, and then you just take it off and it stays there.
You guys have that too?
Yeah.
I thought it's only in Indonesia only.
Yeah, of course, only in Indonesia. Of course. All right, tell us.
So that was my first time, and my first set was 1 hour because I didn't know that you can, have like 5 minutes comedy, because all my references like all made 1 hour show. I thought it has to be like 1 hour. So I performed that in front of my neighbors, my students, few that I had sex with, also was watching.
I like the fact that he's very proud.
He's just dropping that bomb the whole time.
It's like he's trying to convince us that, hey, I have sex. And he keeps on saying it.
But also, everyone who hears this and they're from Europe, you guys have to understand that in Indonesia, apparently, this is not against the law.
No.
As long as you don't impregnate them, then
Exactly.
it just... What happens then?
You have to marry the kid, basically.
Oh, marry the kid. Marry the kid just sounds perfect.
What do you mean the kid?
Yeah, marry the kid. Ow.
Now you understand?
Yeah, it took me a while.
This happens all the time in most Indonesian school. Right?
Really?
Exactly.
The teachers who hook up with... No, there's no wonder there's so many international, teachers come to Indonesia teach English.
And they never leave.
Yeah, and they never leave. And
let's keep on track.
And then the population just grows.
Yeah.
Right. So after this first special, did you start working on comedy clubs?
I wouldn't call it my special, just my first attempt.
Okay.
But I got known because of that a few years after, because I was the first. And
wait. You did it and you became known a few years after?
Yeah. Because this was in 2009. Comedy in Indonesia was not known back then.
Okay.
It was known in 2011. Okay.
And so they went back and said, who's already doing comedy? And they found you.
Precisely like that. Somebody was doing this before us. Let's call the guy. Right? So they called me for a few shows. Apparently, they realized I only do my set in English, which was a bit of a problem because they were like looking for somebody who can do Bahasa Indonesia to please the local market. I was not the guy because my Bahasa Indonesia kind of sucked because I stuttered. I was on a TV show doing my set, and they realized I was doing in English. I was kicked out halfway when I was in the middle of my set.
Wow.
They said, "I'm sorry, you're just not for our market."
Well, but it is what it is. Like, if it's not for their market, it's not for their market.
Yeah, but maybe...
They should have told me before, probably.
I think they would assume, because it's just very rare that someone does it in English, that could be the case.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
They thought because he's a comedian, he must, be doing this in Bahasa Indonesia.
Okay, so you started doing, you've been kicked out of TV shows, you started doing comedy clubs, and then you started also travel in Southeast Asia doing
Yeah.
your comedy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there, I guess you found a little bit more luck because then speaking in English is
Of
not
course,
More
because
common. And what country specifically did you go to? What is your favorite place?
Malaysia actually.
Oh,
They got a
okay.
very solid comedy club there, and then Singapore because the diverse audience.
Just
of
about
the-
to say Singapore. Yeah, that could be a good place. Oh yeah, and they speak English there.
Yeah, but it's too highbrow though, right? It's not soulful enough. You know,
Oh,
because-
okay.
But Malaysia, that's the place, and Cambodia, that was weird, and Bangkok.
Bangkok. All the cool spots.
No. The coolest spot, you guys have to go to Brunei.
really.
Yeah, because it's either do or die over there.
Do or die.
If you make jokes about the Sultan, you'll get arrested.
Oh, shit.
If you're not funny, they're not gonna pay you. So you have to make cleanest material as possible and make people laugh.
And that's the story of how he got arrested and spent 6 years in Brunei. So
And that's why he's suggesting for us to go there. Yeah, you guys definitely should go.
please, make jokes about the Sultan, please.
That's the tattoos from the prison he got from his mate.
This is Brunei.
He
So
used to
this-
have also a tear tattoo.
So this tattoo on your right hand represents that you're my boyfriend forever.
I got a prison wife.
And so you started traveling a little bit around Indonesia. Then you were based in Jakarta, doing your comedy in Jakarta, right?
Yes.
And when did you decide to move to Bali, and what made you move to Bali?
Dude, I mean, you guys posted the pictures of how lively it is here. During the pandemic, by the way, in which everyone's crazy here. But in Jakarta, because of the pandemic, everything is dead. Right? Because of the lockdown, social distancing. Even in our comedy club, usually we have like 100 to 120 audience in a very small room. Because of the pandemic, we can only afford 40, not more. Otherwise,
And this is what is happening right now.
it's been a year and more plus actually. That's what it's hard to survive there. When I learned that you guys can have like 200 audience per week live, I was like, oh, fuck it, I got to move here.
So basically, you were like, okay, I want to continue being a comedian. Right now, there's not many opportunities in Jakarta, so
Yes.
let's move to Bali.
It's not much about opportunity. It's more about pushing myself to make more jokes. Because your audience is quite demanding, right?
Absolutely.
And I need that because in Jakarta, it's not even like weekly shows. It's like once a month, maybe.
So this is like your gym, basically.
Yeah,
You're here
true.
to train your muscle
Yeah.
of writing and creating
What
jokes.
differentiate, and I'm very proud about the Bali Comedy Club, is that
100%.
every week you need to come up with new material,
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
which is kind of unheard of in comedy. Because comedians, they work on their material, some people even for years. And Louis C.K., he famously said that he said for 18 years.
Yeah.
That is not some.
And it makes total sense, like some place like states. You start with one state and you just travel around and you can do the same thing and add and add and add.
Because
But you can't
different places, yeah.
Exactly. But you can't come to the same place and where you have regulars, like 30-40% regulars are coming
Exactly.
back.
No, but also, like, if you are in LA or New York, there are just so many people that even if it's every week, there's chance that there are going to be different people. And that's why here in Bali, because we had a big amount of people coming to see the show, but it's always the same people, more or less. And of course, they may become once a month or twice a month or once every 2 months, but more or less...
Our comedy in Bali is just like relationships in Bali. 1 week, next chick. Or
And you know all the faces. You were here before, were you?
So, what are your goals? Like, what do you want from comedy now?
Let me tell you something. I used to have a tour,
Okay.
right?
Around where?
Around Java. Was planning to go outside Java, but my tour failed, right? Because it didn't have a finale, because I ran out of money.
take your phone away. It does the thing. No, like really take it away. Oh, it's maybe also your
Throw it.
phone. Take your phone to the side because it's too close to the mic. There you go.
Yeah,
So you ran out of money while touring.
exactly. I mean, my colleagues, comedian friends, they made tour for like 20 cities, 12 cities. My tour, 4 cities.
Oh shit! That's not much of a tour, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah, and then I ran out of money, so I had to stop it. So I'm hoping that I can make that kind of a thing again.
And after a moment like that, have you thought about quitting comedy?
No, of course not. The problem is people love me. It's just that I don't have enough money to finance the tour. So it's not that I'm not funny. I just can't afford.
So you basically need to figure out how to pimp your ass out, buddy.
That's why you came to Bali, to find some expats.
Papa, you got a Papa pimp.
Yeah, hook me up if they want some.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's about trying to promote yourself. You know, you can be the best artist, the best performer, but if you don't know how to promote, you don't know the right people.
Something other X factors too. My tour in one city, I was promised 200 audience. Only 40 came. And they said because every night it's unsafe in that city.
Oh, wow.
Criminal.
Where the fuck were you touring? With the terrorists?
Was that in that what is the place?
Aceh.
We used to have a huge issue with biker gang. And this city was one of the
Oh,
worst.
shit.
So
I'm never going to tour Indonesia. That's
People
Biker
were
gang.
afraid to go out at night. And that was like affected my tour in that city.
all right. And that's the end of the first part. Now we're going to have a small intermission. Being funny. What do you think is the most important thing to make a joke work?
Oh crap! This is like a
Good
deep
one.
philosophical question right there.
Browski. First good question today.
Yeah. 2 things, I think, basically. Just follow the guidelines of comedy. You know, set up, punch, right? And second thing, you make
All
sure...
right, expand on that. Guidelines of comedy, you said set up and punch, which is punchline. What is a setup? What is a punchline?
Setup, basically, you have to make a nice opening for your story. Something interesting. Yeah. And then you have to follow that with a good punchline, with a twist.
Okay. Can you give us an example? You knew it was coming.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry, I give a lot of mentorship. So I'm just by heart. So make a very interesting clickbaity kind of setup. For example, I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks. And then find a punchline. The punchline must not about the hospital, because that's predictable. So the punchline must not about health, about medicines, about nurses or doctors.
So you have a shock value.
Exactly. So,
Boom.
for example, I was trapped in the hospital for 2 weeks because the food was that good. It means your wife sucks, right? Or, for example, I was trapped in the hospital.
I like how Renage is looking at me like, am I supposed to laugh? I don't know.
It's just an example, right? Or I was trapped in the hospital for 2 weeks because looking for a downline. There you go.
Looking for what?
A downline. Do you know what that is? Multi-level marketing.
Wow, you digging so deep. Who the fuck will understand that? Oh, man.
A multi-level marketing
Yeah.
company.
Did you just put your name on there? That's it.
Hey, you, where's Rena's name?
I just realized it's just Reggy and Chris.
Take 3.
Yeah, put my name on
We're
it.
gonna repeat the whole thing again because Renar's not here.
With his left hand. Look at that. Yes.
I am left-handed. What?
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, the left hand is usually creative and artistic. Like, what the fuck happened with you?
In Indonesia,
Where's your artist?
Okay, kids.
Calm down.
Let's go back to the joke. So you said 2 things. One is follow the guidelines, which is set up and punchline, and the other thing?
Be honest with your story. Let the uglies go. Right? For example, I'm quite shameless about the fact I was having sex with my students.
Again,
Now you laugh about that, huh?
all his life is around this one moment.
This one moment having sex. He's very proud about that one.
Exactly, because usually the stories that you're ashamed of are the funniest.
No matter how I'm gonna edit this video afterwards, it's still gonna be sex mentioned with his
Now,
students.
I want you to do a highlight reel of how many times
times
sexual students, sexual students, sexual students, sexual students.
And drink a shot. It's like a shot challenge. Every time I said that. So there you go.
Yeah, but what do you think, Chris?
I want to ask him. Okay.
Go for it.
So somebody's
have
watching
my
this.
blessing.
Hopefully, my mom. Hey, mom. But what would you suggest to a young comedian that wants to start? Because obviously this is the thing. They look at you, you've been a forefather, a godfather to Indonesian comedy. Maybe there's some Indonesian that, because the Indonesian comedy scene is very big, but the Indonesian comedy scene in English is not that big still.
Okay.
So maybe they're like, you know what? I want to do it in English because, of course, everyone thinks, yeah, then I'm going to make the transition to the US and become famous like Ronnie Chang did from Malaysia and Singapore, or like Trevor Noah from South Africa, whatever. They look at you and they said, okay, he started, he did this. Of course, after so many years, you are able to say, well, I should have done this in different ways. So what would be the suggestion to young Indonesian comedians that want to do comedy in English?
Very simple. Don't do it.
Wait before Reggie gets out of the scene, so you have no competition.
Exactly.
Then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
But they can become your students, so you can possibly fuck them.
Oh, yay!
After they pay me. So for the knowledge. No. But really, don't do it. This is like not the easiest career there is. First of all,
Then why are you doing it? Then why are you doing it?
Because I won't take no for an answer.
I mean, let's get serious here. I mean, it's about passion, right? You want to do what you want to do. Stand-up comedy is what you want to do. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, when you say like you get bored at the, doing office, whatever, because it's mundane, it's bullshit. There's no excitement. There's no like, am I going to bomb or I'm not going to bomb? Am I going to make people laugh? Because that is the buzz, what we're living for. That's what we're getting on that fucking stage, right? Because, so... And then someone like there's a little Reggy somewhere, probably your kid from your students, and thinking about also being in same dead-end job, just hating every day, but I would like to do a comedy. So what would you say would be transition? Obviously, you can still keep the day job, maybe reduce day job if that's a chance, maybe do
also
a part-time job, and then, pursue the comedy.
Also because, and that's one thing that I want to point out, being a comedian offers at least a couple of big challenges. The first one is that everyone wants to have things immediately because that's the way we live now. We live for the likes and stuff, but being a comedian is a process, is a craft that you have to master, and in order to master it, it's going to take some time.
Not only that, I guess, of course.
But also, and yes, you can become successful immediately thanks to social media, but you have to pay your dues in comedy. Like...
It depends how you look at it, because you can become quite popular in social media, especially like when the guys do these small sketches. Some of them make
but that's different.
Really
that's
good
a different thing.
From that.
That's not stand-up comedy, though.
Yeah, but you can do both.
No, sure.
You can really,
But that's the thing. You can also be very famous on TikTok doing sketches, but then when you're in front of an audience, they're not gonna laugh just because you did a good sketch 2 days ago.
True, but what I'm trying to say is that, let's say if we're talking about surviving, I'm talking about making income, right? So instead of having a day job, still having a day job in office and then doing comedy, you can be only focused on comedy, but then have a different strengths. So you go for doing sketches, which is still... you're going to write stuff, you're going to perform, and then you do the stand-up, and you can maybe somehow mix them together and use that.
True, but that's also a very big stretch, because even if you have 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, I know people here in Bali with our YouTubers with 100,000 followers. They're poor as fuck. So because you see the K next to the number of followers, you think, oh, he's doing great. No, I went to Nusa Lembongan with a group of people, and there was a YouTuber in this group of people, and we all stayed in a hotel, and this person stayed in a guest house.
And it's just like you as well. You have like 10,000 followers, and you bought like 9,000 of them. How many actually?
No, all of them. You
bought all of them.
Minus my mother.
That explains a lot.
No, but that's the thing. Like, the followers don't immediately convert into money.
No.
Like, of course, if you have 2 million, you probably have a lot of sponsorship. But the second challenge about being a comedian is that, and that's why it's so good to be a comedian, because if you're a comedian, you live on the extreme. because when you're on stage and you kill it, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like a drug. It's like cocaine. It's like a super orgasm. You feel like a god almost. You feel so powerful. But when you go on stage and you bomb,
That's the worst feeling in the world.
that's the worst feeling in the world. It's like if you go limp, if you have a whiskey dig, you're gonna go up, but you're in front of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But there's something else though about that. Of course, killing on stage is fun, right? But I think becoming a comedian, you got to prove something that you're actually worth being called. I mean, people think you're a comedian, of course. But do you think yourself as a comedian? Do you think you're worth to be called as a comedian by yourself? What's your proving point? If I can share mine, is that I think I can really call myself a comedian because I have been at the lowest point in my life. And when that happened, I laugh. That's what I found out. when most things are fucked up, I can still make it funny. Maybe I should become a comedian. So there you go.
Comedians in general are weird people though. And I find that many of them have the wrong perception of who they are. Many of them think they're too good for what they really are. They think they're completely hilarious, and then you go on stage and like, okay.
We got a lot of people like that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that was shit. And then there's some people who completely undervalue themselves.
Yes.
It's very difficult to have a fair assessment of your capabilities as a comedian. Because also that's the thing. Comedy is such a personal opinion at the end of the day that it really matters like who you talk to after the show. Because you can do a show, and it happened to me. I did some shows where I didn't think I did that good.
And people come over and they say like, fuck, that was amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult to grasp because for every joke, you're almost never going to have 100% of the people laughing. But on the other hand, you probably are going to always have at least a few people who really love the joke.
Yeah, agree. And it's also about the stand-up comedy because, you know, the public speaking, and especially when we done Toastmasters, you know, when we had actually the humoristic speeches and stuff, right? For me, it's like it's more about you telling a story, but you're telling it so good that people enjoy it and they laugh about it, and that's like when you're a teacher. There's some fucking boring teachers. I remember in my school, I just wanted to kill myself. You know what I mean? It's like, remember my history or geographics teachers, and they're just like super old, and you just want to kill yourself. But then there's like someone who is like puts some salt to it and like adds some joke to it, and then you want to listen, then you're interested. So for me, like stand-up comedy is like someone tells you a story. So that's why I'm a very big fan of like, you know, I love Chris's sets. Like he always tells a story, but there is these little snaps inside, which makes it fun. And
I call it the sprinkle, the funny, and also consider this. Talking about Toastmasters and stand-up in general, public speaking is one of the biggest fear for many people.
I actually looked it up, and we did with Toko.
Number
I looked
2
up,
supposedly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I heard that.
I looked up funny facts.
Number
about
1
stuff.
is fucking your teacher.
No, number 1 is being burned alive. That's what most people are afraid of.
From?
I read about this. So the top 10 things that most people are afraid of. Number 1 is being burned alive. Number 2 is public speaking.
Okay, we're not talking living in a time when they used to hunt witches and shit.
I think if I had to choose, I would go for public speaking.
Obviously.
But yeah, there's a lot of actually well-known speakers. They were said as they were petrified from public speaking. Some of them just like presidents, like important people, CEOs, and they really struggle with that.
We had the whole movie about that actually.
Yeah,
the King's Speech.
Yeah, the King's Speech. That's a great
movie.
movie.
That is good. Yeah, he was stuttering, right?
He was stuttering.
Yeah.
And also, what I love about comedy is that I always undermine my role as a comedian. Because at the end of the day, I hate people that, you know, they believe they make too much of an impact. And then Bali's full of it, you know. Everyone you talk to is like, oh yeah, I changed lives. And you don't do shit, motherfucker. But me as a comedian, I'm like, what I want to do is simply make people take things less seriously. But then when you connect with the audience after the shows and they tell you the stories, sometimes it's really shocking what from one little laugh that you make them do, it sparks something huge. There is one of the comedians in our roster, for example, that she started on our stage on the Bali Comedy Club, and she was dealing with mourning. So a person very close to her died, and she never did comedy before, and she used comedy to get over that. And for me, that makes it completely worth it. Like to be able to give that person a platform so she's able to let go and to feel better in the face of such a tragedy, that's completely amazing.
So she made joke about the dead person.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, but when you say like she made joke about that person, it's not like she, you know, it's like there's a storyline, there's something involved, there's all this kind of stuff. Because on anything you can look from two sides. You know, you could, as you say, like you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Most of the people are gonna cry and do whatever, and that's your choice. You can choose cry about it, but you're not gonna change fucking anything if you're gonna cry about it. If you're gonna laugh about it, yeah, at least you're gonna have some C vitamin.
I think if you make jokes about this kind of thing, and that's why I think that in comedy there should be no taboo, no censorship. You strip away the power from it.
Yes.
And that's very important. And that's why, to me, you should be able to make jokes about everything. Now, the reason why people get offended, for me, is never about the topic. For me, is always that you weren't funny enough, or the joke wasn't clever enough.
Or how you delivered it. What is the intention? What is the energy?
No, but that's the thing. Like, if you make jokes about pedophilia, you make jokes about racism, whatever you want.
Rape jokes.
If you're clever enough in your joke, people are actually gonna laugh at it.
Yeah, but it is tough.
But on the other hand, as I said before, you're never gonna have 100% of the people, so you're always gonna have a couple of Karen getting offended.
Yeah,
that's like rule number one in comedy. You can't make them all happy. You can't please them all, right? But be grateful with what you have on your side at the end of the day.
All right, so let's talk something specific in comedy. So when you're on stage, what do you focus on? Like, do you talk to people? You just see blank in front of you? Do you concentrate on few people on the audience? How do you perceive you being on stage? For example, when I'm on stage, I feel like time kind of morphs.
Yes.
You know, those lights in your face and shit, and it's like, oh.
5 minutes become an eternity.
And this is for listeners. So compare, Chris. How long you been doing comedy?
1 year.
1 year.
What?
I did it when I was very young, and then I got away from comedy and did like more serious speeches, and then I got back at it just 1.5 years.
But you had such a good training doing it while you did the Toastmasters, because this is kind of
I kept on doing public speaking for many years, but not just stand up.
Right. And Reggie, how many years you done it?
11
years. I've done it like 2 months now, right? So yesterday was my 5th time, and it's just like how these are different perspectives, how we look at it.
Of course.
And for me, it was like, it's just like I want to get on stage and try it out and see how it feels, and it feels incredible to get those laughs.
You gotta build high though. You gotta start strong, and you ride that energy.
Yes. That's one of the most important things that new people that get to comedy have a little bit trouble understanding, is to ride the energy and to feel the energy of the room.
Yes. That's the focus basically. So I may look at someone, I may look at all of them. For me, it doesn't quite matter as long as I can feel them. Yeah, I can feel the enthusiasm and use that to feed my jokes.
And sorry, the reason why I was asking the experience and stuff, I was going with that when you said when you get on the stage and the feeling you get and time morphs and whatever. Like for me, first couple of times was just like all you see is light. You kind of see there are people somewhere, but when you hear the laughs, all of a sudden it's just like fuck it, it's fine. You okay? You good?
Yeah, like, and it depends also the stage you're in. For example, when I did my special at the Hard Rock Cafe, the lights were so bright I couldn't see shit.
Oh, really?
I couldn't see anybody.
Oh.
That is kind of annoying though. You do want to see audience. You do want to do some
I
crowd work.
I was seeing like kind of shadowy figures. So I was just pretending.
We should just turn around. Just
Spotlight on them. That is kind of annoying for the comedian part when you can't see your audience.
Yeah.
And for example, one thing that I think Reggie does very good, because when you are in an open mic, you never know how the comedian before you is going to perform, and it's out of your control. And sometimes the crowd is just not there.
Yeah.
But it's never an excuse, because if you're a good comedian, you'll do a good job no matter what. So one thing that Reggie does is that Reggie won't start his set. Like he always does a little bit of crowd work or does a little bit of jokes that refer to the previous comedian or me as a host that introduced him.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he said, starting on a high. So he makes sure that the audience is there and then he starts with his set.
Yes.
Because many times if you just start the first few seconds when you're on stage, the audience just finished clapping, so maybe they're getting a drink, maybe they're giving a comment to the other people at the table, because of course during the set they pay attention, and then when the host is on stage they kind of pay attention because, you know, there's
a good analogy is surfing here. You catch a wave and try to sit on it. So because like as soon as you get on the stage, people are just you just got introduced, and they're like the wave is right there, and just make sure that wave is still there. Well, I try to surf, so
yeah, that's.
I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm trying to understand. Okay, so that
because
makes sense.
As soon as you lost the wave, that's it.
Okay, so an analogy that you can understand: before fucking the student, you have to make her wet. Once she's wet, you can fuck the student.
Okay,
he got that.
I got that. That's relatable.
How did you?
Don't ever fuck them dry. No, that's
I mean, you can, but no, but that's the thing. So when you start your set, it's very important that you already have the attention of the audience.
Absolutely. No, you don't go into your
100%.
set without warming them up first. Fluff them first. You know, it's like a
100%. And this is what I haven't done much stand up, but I've done other performances like dancing and stuff. And the dancers, if they don't have a good opening, like the first couple seconds, like people are not gonna look just like in comedy.
You mean the first couple buttons?
No. I'm not talking about
zipping. But that's the thing. It's true that you gotta have a strong opening and a strong closing.
Yes.
But if that's all you have, it's not enough. And sometimes you witness that. Like there's a good joke, shit, good joke. Still.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like what people don't understand, because comedy is all about stage time. Oh, I want to do 7 minutes. Oh, I want to do 10 minutes. If you have 3 minutes that kills,
and you smashed it,
it's much better than having 15 minutes that are meh.
Yeah.
Because even if in those 15 minutes you have 3 good jokes and the other are average, then just use those 3 and get off the stage while you're on a high.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah. That's very true.
It is interesting that some comedians actually said, well, I can't judge by myself. I just want to be on a stage as long as I can. But I know what you say. But there are some guys who are more experienced, and you can see that they enjoy like even that there's silence.
Oh, yeah.
And then they do one joke where it's like people laugh, and then there's a lot of silence again. I'm like...
Well, it depends what you want to get out from your performance. For example, if you consider for example, our show on Fridays as training, then yes, you want to stay as long as possible. You want to experiment with the awkward.
How does it feel to be on a stage when you can hear crickets?
No, it is. But because sometimes you can then turn that into a laugh.
True.
But that's the thing. Like, and this is what many comedians will tell you, that they embrace the bombing. That's this phrase about comedians, embracing the bombing. The reality, though, is that if you can be good all the time, be fucking good all the time.
Okay, I don't think you should embrace the bombing, embrace the killing.
Well, it's like some people like to punish themselves. There's like
Exactly.
what do they call it when they cut themselves? They call it self.
See, student?
Not cut.
Masochist.
It's called self-harmers.
Masochist.
Self-harming.
Self-plumping. All right.
Talking about bombing, there's one thing that kind of gets on my nerves, which is, and I understand, in an open mic, you don't have to be a professional comedian. You don't have to want to be a professional comedian. What gets on my nerve is that people that go on stage once or twice in 3 months, they do fairly well, and they think they're super funny.
All right.
That happens a lot with beginners, probably, right?
Yeah, because that's the thing, you know. At the beginning, you just tell the stories that you repeated all your life, and those are like your funny stories that you use when you flirt, that you use with your friends when you meet new people. And so you go on stage, you feel super confident. You do it once, you kill, and you're like, yes, I'm a comedian. You're not.
It's basically material which you've been rehearsing.
Yeah.
Just having conversation with your friends and all that stuff. Just like, one of my sets was about that Spanish horse rider. That was actually how I was telling stories to my friends. And you repeat them. But then when you write new material, like I did a couple of days ago, and it was like day later I have to be on a stage with that material, you can feel that it's just not. I even haven't learned it properly, you know. So, sorry, but it's different. So for us, especially here now in Bali, to do it every week, a different material,
that's
and just
a challenge.
Perform once,
and especially during the pandemic, because there's not much going on. And so it's like, okay, what do I talk about now?
Exactly. You can go everywhere to find materials. You have to say in your room, just find something from zero.
Because that's the thing also. Every week, like you say, you have 7 days, but they go
so fast.
so quick.
Because, for example, we did it yesterday. So today already you're like, nah, it's the weekend, gonna relax. Then it's Monday. You start saying, oh, fuck, I only have 4 days and a half.
Yeah, and then last week we did Monday, Tuesday, we were busy with podcasts and stuff, and I had one day on Wednesday. So on Wednesday in the morning, like I was sitting 3 hours just typing shit.
Oh, shit.
Going straight away to rehearsal and then reading all my memoirs, and everyone's like, what the fuck's that? I was like, but yeah, some of it could be good. And Chris like, yeah, some of it. It's like, when you get a big block of ice or stone, and then you just carve some shit out, and all I have that little... I'm showing my pinky toe, those who can't see the video.
Same thing happened to me too. I tried my 10-minute material in the rehearsal, and I went home in 1 minute.
Yeah, you shave it, you take it out.
9 minutes gone.
And you're like, what the fuck do I have? Not much.
Like, for example, me yesterday, I had no idea what to talk about, so I just started reading the news. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do jokes about the news."
And it's beautiful. And this is what I actually, maybe one week we can do this challenge, just like we did in our workshop. So it's almost like we would have in the hat, we would have themes, and everyone just pulls out a theme, and this is what you need to make your set about.
That might be. And talking about that, how do you choose your premises? How do you choose what to talk about?
Wow.
It just, because sometimes it's just things that happen to you and you're like, I can turn into, but other times you kind of just have to choose. Okay, what do I want to talk about this week?
Mostly it's observation, right? Yeah, basically what you see. But like what you said, Chris, I mean, if we don't go out, you can't see shit. So basically you have to find them from readings, newspapers, internets, which is less accountable than observing things first-handed. So,
but it's great just to use your imagination as well. And I'm so happy to finally start writing. I haven't wrote since I was like in high school. Now I write almost every week.
Exactly.
And a couple of days ago, I was just sitting and I did post it on my Instagram. Like this cat was just looking at these birds and trying to catch them, and it's like you just think about what does the cat think. So you like almost getting in that fucking mode, and like just wiggles its tail, like what is it gonna do? Is he gonna jump? And those two birds are literally sitting on that branch and just like gossiping with each other. Oh, this motherfucker, what he's gonna do? What he's gonna do?
And that's the thing. Finding the funny most of the time is just find the right angle to tell a story, the right point of view.
Exactly.
Because I can tell you any object or any story or any news, and you can find 1,000 different angles to tell that story.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, everyone makes jokes about their wives, and they're never gonna end the jokes, or cats or whatever. You can find so many jokes. You just have to put your mind and the time in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The past 3 years in Jakarta, before Bali, I did not write anything from my jokes.
Really?
Once in Bali, I had to do that weekly, right? Or otherwise, I can stay up in the bar for the quality of comedy here in Bali. So actually, I have to actually do something that I had never done before.
And this of course, brings stress, but it's also very good.
It's a good stress. It's a needed stress.
Yeah, like one thing that I noticed and that I love is because since I opened the Bali Comedy Club, every week was new material. I have so much material.
Yes.
And of course, not all the jokes are killer jokes, but if you write new material every week, even if it's just half a joke or one joke every 2 weeks, at the end of the year, you're still going to have 10 times as much material than the average comedian.
I totally agree. And now if I'm going back to UK, so now I can go and say like, guys, I have 7 different 5 minutes, sets.
Yes.
Exactly.
And all that.
Exactly. Like, for example, the thing is, if we go now, we're planning to do a little bit of a tour with Bali Comedy Club. I'll tell you more when the cameras are off. But then, if I have to do a 15-minute set, I have it. If I have to do a 20-minute set, I have it. If I have to do a 1.5-hour set because nobody's there and I'm the only comedian, I still have it, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Not only we can try new materials every week here, but we can try them in front of hundreds of audience.
That's true.
That are willing to see us just out of experimenting.
We're like
things.
ninjas who are in hide now and just getting sharp in our freaking stars and shit.
Consider this. There was recently on Comedy Central and on Netflix, they talked about Patrice O'Neill, who died and was a great comedian. He was the best roasters between the comedians. And Kevin Hart shared a story. And he was doing a set in front of maybe 10 people, Kevin fucking Hart. And Patrice O'Neill threw the phone book on stage and said, well, with the material you have, you better be reading the phone book. But think about that. Kevin Hart was performing, and he was already Kevin Hart. Not at the level he is now, but he was already on TV and stuff, doing in front of 10 people. Chappelle, when he's doing the Chappelle show, he will go out, walk into the comedy club, and perform in front of 20 people. And it's amazing that we have the opportunity. Like, if we have a bad night, we're in front of 100 people.
That's a bad night. Exactly.
And I'm there freaking out because I'm like, fuck, there's not enough people.
I can see him all the time. Every time I get on the internet, he's like...
I was like, why are you upset? There's a good number of people. Why are you upset?
People's going to come in. They're fucking late. It's Bali time. Like yesterday, the MMA Bali arrives like fucking superstars.
In Jakarta, we can have 40 people. That's a good night already.
Yeah. Listen, well, this was nice.
This was fun. Well, let's leave the floor to Reggy. Is anything you want to tell us? Any one message that you want to tell the students?
If you need an English teacher, call me. I'm available for students of all ages.
No, not all ages, please. Please, over 18, not all ages.
Over 40 in your case.
Over ages, come on, be adventurous. You only live once. But if you want to try the best experience for comedy, come to Bali, especially now.
Yes, it is. Too bad you cannot come because it's closed, but hey, it's not our fucking problem, is it?
And maybe on like a serious note, like when Chris tried to squeeze out of you, what would be the thing with the message to young and people who want to get into stand-up, and maybe specifically here in Indonesia?
3 suggestions.
Don't do it because of the hype.
True.
Right? It may look cool.
Okay.
It's harder than it looks like.
So do the research first. Understand what
do it for the passion.
Okay.
Do the soul searching first.
Okay, so this is a very good suggestion, but I want a practical suggestion.
Oh, practical suggestion? Listen to the pros. Don't only listen to the comedians that you like. No. Listen to all kinds of comedians.
Except Reggy.
Except Chris.
He said pros.
Yeah. I'm not pros. I'm just experienced. So
Just expand basically your outlook on
He's
the
a
comedy.
kilf comedian. I'd like to fuck.
the more references you have, the better, because you absorb all those kind of things.
And okay, this is about listening, but something that they have to actually do. Like, I want to start doing my sets. So, what is the first step that I have to do?
Number 3 is that once you're given the chance to do an open mic, don't waste it. All right, no matter how much time you've given, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, do your best set.
Yeah, but that many times is connected to fear of failure. Like, people like to say, oh, I didn't have enough time to write. And sometimes it's true, but sometimes are just excuses because you're afraid that you're going to do shit.
Yes.
So you're like, hey, I didn't prepare, so you cannot expect anything. But if you have the chance, just try, put your all, and maybe you're going to find out that it's not for you and there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe you're going to find out that you like it, and then that's the thing. Comedy, with many other things, is about hard work. It doesn't seem like, but it's about hard work.
Yeah,
True.
100%.
That's very true.
And thank you, Reggie, for giving us advice as I ask you the question. Because you fucking stole his limelight. It was time for him to respond the question. Stop doing that, Chris.
But he does it all the time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You fucking papa sitting on your throne. Put a little.
It's his podcast.
When we did with Toko, I said like we need a little like a close like drapes.
Curtain.
Yeah, curtain. He's just. Well, it's about.
Sorry.
This is your time. So
That's okay.
All right, I'll move away the mic.
yeah, just give us the last couple sentences. What do you just suggest to guys, or if you don't want to suggest, say something. Whatever you want to say, go for it.
I just made those 3 things. Don't fuck him.
Just 3 things.
He just said, like what I said, but just echoing a bit to what Chris said. Actually, it is hard work. And I'd say when you make the excuse that you don't have enough time to make your materials, that's not true, right? I mean, a week is enough, especially in Bali when you're given the time to rehearse before the open mic, right? So that's a time when you can fail and be tested. That's more than enough. If you squeeze your brain 3 hours a day before your turn,
Not a good
once
idea.
a week.
But that's not good. I think what Chris also said, I need to admit what he said, it was good. Every day, spend half an hour writing.
Oh, half an hour is not enough.
No.
There's no way that's enough.
But it's better half an hour a day than a 4th day and you sit 5 hours. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And this is not me saying this. This is the GOAT of comedy. Jerry Seinfeld said that, well, if you want comedy to become your job, you have to treat it like your job.
Yeah.
How many hours do you spend working? Do you spend 8 hours? Then you should spend 8 hours writing jokes. You don't have 8 hours, it's fine. How much time do you have? 1 hour? Then spend 1 hour a day writing. Because that's the job. And I always make this comparison. It's like being an athlete. Usain Bolt, he doesn't run fast only on the race day. He trains his ass off, and that's why he's the fastest man alive.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that comedians are just naturally funny and they just come up and do whatever. They just talk shit. That's what, and also I remember there's one comedian was performing. He said, the only reason I'm taking this job because all I need to do is work once a day or a couple of days, and it's like for 10 minutes, and then I can just sleep rest of the time. Obviously, rest of the people who watch it, they're like, oh yeah, that's how it looks like. But
to me, it's actually quite the opposite. Being funny in real life and being funny on stage have nothing to do.
2 different things.
Very different
There's
things.
no way.
And this is not meant as a poke, but for example, let's take Reggy. Reggy, to me, is super funny on stage.
But in real life, just
I'm awkward in life. Wait.
Real life, I love to hang out with him. He's a cool guy. He's not the most entertaining guy there is.
Yes.
He's a chill guy.
Yeah.
And you see people that in real life, and they always come to me after the show, oh yeah, I'm going to kill it. And you're like, well, okay, we have rehearsal on Wednesday. Give me your 5 minutes. Let me show it to me, tell me your 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about it. Oh no, I can just go on stage. And at the beginning of the Bali Comedy Club, I would give the opportunity because we didn't have enough comedians, and they would bomb every single time. Those people that outside are super funny because in real life, even when you tell the story, you don't tell punchlines.
No. It's a difference between hangout jokes and jokes on stage. Don't make it the same.
And even me, I think I'm reasonably funny on stage. I think I'm good. I think I'm also technical on stage in some aspects. Most of the time, I just want to chill. I don't want to tell a joke, and that's why there's so many problems. Oh, that comedian thinks of himself so high, you know. I went to him, and he was serious. Well, because that's how he is, you know. He's not a fucking clown, you know. He's there to entertain you when he's on stage. The other time, we're people, you know. When I'm mad and some people come to me, oh, you're the funny guy. I'm like, yo, fuck off. Give me some space, you know.
We are people. Chris, calm down. It's okay.
That sounds so honest.
It's okay. We're people too. We have feelings.
But I think the interesting part about comedy is that how are you obsessed with comedy, right? Because I used to have like my own addictions, not bad ones, like for gamings, and I like sex too, obviously. Until I think about comedy so much that it overtake the addictions.
Yeah.
I no longer think about games anymore. I perform worse in sex now because I kept thinking about jokes, making
While you're having
jokes.
sex.
Now,
the punchline. Wait.
dude, that's not wrong. One time I was like blowing my girlfriend boobs and my eyes.
Blowing my girl. This expression, like this podcast is worth just for this expression.
How you blow someone's boobs?
It's 34D. Yeah, it's a big one.
It doesn't fit in the mouth. You had it all over your face.
Or were they like a really like long ones and you just said that?
It's really they're like bubbles.
No, like the clowns with the balloon and they make the animal. and here's the doggy. So you were blowing the boobs?
And
From now on, I'm just gonna call it. I'm blowing the boobs.
I was automatically practicing my set.
Oh shit!
While kissing her boobs.
Oh.
And it's also true. Like so many times now, somebody tells something and say, "Wait, I need to write it down."
Or if you hang out with comedians, you're like, "Can I take that? Can I take that?" When I just started hanging out with the guys, I said something and I said, "Oh, dude, is that okay? It's okay."
Yeah.
And the answer you should say is always no, because they'll take advantage of it.
Yeah. Okay. The camera is gonna die very soon. That's it. Let's finish this. This was fantastic, Reggy. So yeah, you keep saying Reggy. It's Reggie in English and Reggy in Indonesian.
And I'm gonna add just one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned, cause me and my boy Reggy have big things cooking. So pretty enough, we're gonna have.
You're gonna do some big boobs blowing, or what's?
We're gonna blow some big boobs.
More than a couple of boobs.
More than a couple of students' boobs. So I guess that soon we're gonna have him again, and we're gonna talk about some good shit.
Of course.
Nice one. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
It was good shit, broski.
Broski.
Boom.
He's a broski. He's a broski.
We can do that. Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and we're gonna be back soon with another episode. The next guest is a Russian friend.
Yes.
His name is Pavel.
Pavel. And as always, remember.
Now he has cool tattoos.
Yes, he does. Remember to exercise in the morning and
eat vegetables.
Eat vegetables and blow boobies. Thank you.
Yo.
Make friends with your students.